I was in Vietnam about 2 months, and the company clerk said, "You're going to 4th Infantry Division, you're assigned to PIO. This stands for Public Information Office. It was the PR arm of the Army, and every division had a Public Information Office. So I thanked him, I went back out to my unit. 7 days later, I was a combat photographer. We had a full-fledged darkroom in there. We had 13 full-time writers, a full-time combat sketch artist, a combat watercolorist. It was a well-stocked, well-equipped public information office. I carried a .45 on my hip, and when I wasn't carrying a .45, I carried an M79. So it started to come down, I was ready. I wasn't just going to be the guy with the camera. There were 5 or 6 assignments on the board every day. Since I was the ranking NCO, I got the pick. And off I went. Stayed with the unit for 2 or 3 days, got to meet a few guys, do a couple of stories, get some action shots. I was able to assimilate myself into the situation. And I got to see them all. I had a chance to go from an artillery unit to an MP K9 unit to a Scorpion mission to let's go out with the LRPs for 11 days. Hung out in their camps and hung out in their fire bases and fired out the bunker when we were getting shot at. When we were pinned down, they called in an airstrike. And when I tell you, you don't know what an airstrike is till it lands 100 yards from where you're lying in the ground. Wow, unbelievable. When the film had to go down to go over the Stars and Stripes once a week, somebody would get to do a press run, and you'd go to Saigon. We would get there 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, hop a Jeep, drop the film off, get a receipt for it, go to the Packy Hotel, and relax in a real hotel in downtown Saigon. Now me, I was a photographer, had cameras, I went around and just shot Saigon. The embassy, traffic, with the sign saying Saigon, Bami Tuit, Anke, instead of Florida. I went to the zoo in Saigon while I was there. I went to the Buddhist shrines. I grew up in New York City. I thought I knew everything, and I was humbled beyond belief. I found that I had to be passionately dispassionate while I was in Vietnam. By putting that shield around myself, I was able to do what I had to do. Those pictures are really my memories of Vietnam, because that's where I was. I wasn't doing this or this most of the time. I was doing this most of the time. So that's where it still lies for me.